Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here with 60andMe. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate your time and for coming and joining us on this journey. 60andMe is a community for women who are aging beautifully and who are trying to make the most of this time of their life. You know, we've got so much opportunity. It's an incredible time to be alive, and I'm just so grateful that we're on this little trip together. But thank you again for being here. Now, this morning I am drinking my stash tea. It's a pomegranate and raspberry tea. Nice, berry, fresh, just perfect for this type of hot weather. But I hope you got a cup of tea or coffee, and I'm gonna have a sip. It's really good. It's such a great drink. It's a really good ice drink too. Anyway, I wanted to let you know too that our sponsor for today's show is International Living. Now, if you're thinking of retiring abroad, International Living is the place to check out. They have got people all over the world, just looking at different places from a realistic perspective, all around the world, Europe, Central America, and Mexico, wherever you're thinking. Go out to their website, internationalliving.com/60andme, and they have a number of different reports that you can sign up for. Just give them your email address. They'll send you an email free of charge with a link to the research project that they talk about, and they're very, very useful. They give you precise and very sort of useful information. So that's our sponsor for today, and I want to thank them so much for their support of 60andMe. Now, I've got a topic here today that I really think is so fascinating, and I read it. It's by one of our bloggers, Jude Walsh, and it's just an interesting story about high school reunions. Now, don't go away yet, just because this was such a great story, and it made me think about my own situation and my own experiences with high school reunions. Now, I don't know whether I've mentioned this to you in the past, but I went to school in Michigan, in Hazel Park. That was Hazel Park, which was my high school, and it was for 1 year because I had just moved there. But when I got there, I just got right into the groove, and I actually moved a lot when I was young, so I knew pretty much how to quickly get into the groups of people and made some really nice friends. Now, my mom was sick during this time though, so I actually had a very distracting last year of high school, but it was memorable. Now, Jude talks about her situation, which is her high school had a 10-year reunion, which she went to, and then it went quiet. And so now she's in her 60s, and they announced her 51st high school reunion. Now, can you imagine? You've not seen anybody for 40 years, but they send out the invitation. And so she said she went to quite a small school. There were only less than 100 people in that graduating class. But she said she signed up and went, and there were 47 people who went, some with spouses, and others went solo like she did. And it was a really interesting observation that she made about her high school situation. She first of all talks about when she arrived at the high school reunion, there was a table with the pictures and stories of the 13 people who had died in her high school class. And she said it just took her back. I mean, she knew that would be the case, but it was just so sad that she hadn't really stayed in touch with any of these people, and she didn't really know their stories or what had happened or what they'd done in the world. That's the thing that really struck me when she was talking about it, is that these people had lived lives. They hadn't been married or had children, or they had contributed something to this beautiful world of ours, and then they weren't there. And she regretted that she hadn't kept in touch, or hadn't even been able to send condolences to their family. She didn't even know who they were. So that was one thing. And, she said, basically, don't delay connecting. This is, if you've got an opportunity to connect with your high school friends and you would like to, maybe you don't want to, but it's an option. Now, I actually did connect with my high school friends at Hazel Park through a lady called Sandra. She was like, there's always one wonderful person who organizes all this, and Sandra got this organized, and she's been organizing get-togethers and subsequent chats, the chicks of 66, she calls them, and that's her thing. She does it well. But I made friends with lots of my high school buddies, and I didn't actually go to everyone. I went to the 40th, and I didn't go to the 50th. But anyway, and of course that loss of people made me realize that, we've lost a lot of people from our high school group. And in fact, one very special person, Eugene, he was my biggest crush in school. He was a swimmer. He was beautiful. He was so sweet. And I just I just really loved his life, his lifestyle. And he was my crush, my high school crush. We never got together, of course, but years later, at the 40th reunion, met him, and we chatted about what he'd done with his life. He was a motorcycle rider and just turned into a crazy, kooky person, as I probably should have guessed. But no, he was, he lived his life out. But he died this year. And, we kept in touch a bit on email. But anyway, high school is so emotional. She said that the reunion committee, worked really hard to bring it to life. And, those moments of remembering people were quite powerful. So tears, laughter, lots of, do you remember when's? That's so funny. Do you remember when we did this? Do you remember when that happened? And that's the beauty of the high school reunion. We all had the same experience, like we were living through the politics, through the time in history together, so we could comment on that. She says one thing that's really powerful, and she said, when I got there, everyone had name tags and were given tags with their pictures of their high school picture. And by the way, I had hair down to my waist. It was brown. They used to call me Cher. I was like the class Cher. But it's gone blonde over the years. Anyway, but she said that the thing is to look in the eyes. Look in the eyes of the people on their pictures, and then look at their eyes now. Even as a 70-year-old person or 68 or whatever they are, you can see the person. You can see the spirit of the person. And I thought that was such a beautiful observation to make. She said she really enjoyed it because some of the classmates were just like they always were. They just had the same kooky personality or serious personality. And others had changed completely. She said you wouldn't even recognize them. The things they'd chosen to do, may have been had a reputation or, a sort of style in high school. They went completely the other way, which I think is really, really fun. But, it was just that she said that they were all unique and wonderful human beings. They all had done very wonderful things. And it was a night of remember whens and what ifs and, just the highs and lows. And she talks about the fact that in that 40 years or 50 years since high school, everybody had lived a lot. They had stories to tell. Some had lost their husbands. Some had lost children, grandchildren. She said, and they just simply sat together and talked and remembered. And she said there were tears and there was joyful remembering, but there was no judgment. Whatever people said they did, whatever mistakes they made, whatever decisions they took that ended up not being so wise, it didn't matter. Everybody was sitting there listening and no judgment. And I think of course, everyone's high school reunion is different. Maybe yours was a different experience, but I know that mine were like this. And I'm so happy that I went. And she said she went, she reminisced, she cried, she felt gratitude, she felt inspired by all these amazing people doing amazing things with their lives, doing good things. Having made it to 68 or 70, they were there for the long run, and they'd done some things right. Like you've done some things right. You're here, right? I think that's pretty important. So when was the last time that you attended your high school reunion? I'd love to know. When did you last attend your high school reunion? And what was it like? What was the experience? Are you glad you went? Maybe not. Can go both ways, but for Jude it was a positive experience. For me it was positive, and I'm just really happy that we got to share. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you about my necklace today. This is a cool necklace. It's a really beautiful lady who made necklaces for a living. Her name is Michelle Marks. Sent me some of her necklaces. She was downsizing and sent me some just to wear. And Michelle, thank you. This is really pretty. It's garnet and freshwater pearls. When I looked at this, I thought it was tiger's eye, but it's actually garnet and freshwater pearls. So thank you so much, Michelle, for that. It was lovely to try new looks. Anyway, high school reunion. Did you go? Did you enjoy it? Tell us your story. Have a really, really good day, everybody. Thank you again for being here. And just make sure that you keep your friends close to heart. They're important. And thank you for being my friend on this journey. All the very best. Take care. We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye for now.